Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the United States Bowling Congress Masters. Third squad of the day here on day number 2 of qualifying. It's the 7 p.m. squad here Pacific time, so those of you on the East Coast, welcome in. Hopefully you're getting ready for bed. You got your popcorn. Instead of watching Fallon tonight, or whatever your choice may be, you're watching us right here on Bowl TV. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today and throughout this week's coverage. You know we're going to be here all the way through Saturday. And then you'll want to definitely tune in on Sunday for our FS1 finals. It's going to be a heck of a show. I know that. Probably a little low scoring, depending on how they break them down. But we got a lot of bowling before we get to then. So, flew solo with you this morning. Had Matt Canizero with me on the second squad today, and we saw you guys in the chat. You guys were asking for a special person to come back. He was on assignment all day and did a great job producing a show. The ITC Sectionals show, I believe is what it was called. He'll be able to tell us because he's going to come in right now to join us. Aaron Smith is back, everybody.
Hey, Michael. What's up? Hello, everybody. It's good to be back.
It's good to see you, man.
It's good to be seen. That's a saying. I've heard that before, so I'm going to use it right here. But the ITC Sectional Assignment show posted just a couple hours ago. So a busy day with the IBC youth team. So a big shout out to Gary Brown, Brandon Cruz, Melissa Matos, Andrew Lowy, just the whole team there with IBC youth development to make that happen. But now we got 80 teams on the men's side, 64 on the women's side, going to sectionals in a couple of weeks. They know where they're going. It was fun. It was about a 20-minute show. Enjoyed it. Always enjoy collegiate bowling. So I enjoyed that, but the bad thing about that is I was so busy with all that. I have no idea what happened at the Masters for the first two blocks today. So, Michael, you and the good folks at Bowl TV are going to have to let me know what we're looking for. What happened to the scoring pace today? Is it going up? Is it going down? What's the cut number? All this good stuff. I want to know it. I got to learn it.
All right. Well, we'll cover that during the entire first game. No problem at all. We'll get everybody up to speed on what's going on here. Be a good refresher course in case nobody had a chance to watch today. Maybe they had to work or whatever. So it's great to have you back, sir.
Great to be back. And I'm hearing announcements getting underway. So what pair do you want to go to there, Mike?
Let's go. I'm going to call it out here. I'm glad I don't have to switch it myself. We're going to go to 49 and 50 with Diana, Anthony, and Matthew.
There we go. I like it.
You make this look so easy, by the way, Aaron. I've had to do it for a couple of squads.
Good luck and good score.
I'll work my way back into it being smooth. So, all right, but we see Diana, we see Matthew, we see Anthony. I know big day for Matthew yesterday. I believe got to see I'm already off pace with my scores. It was in the plus 80s. I know that. It was plus 89, I believe, maybe 88.
Yeah, he was in the 80s. He was second on his squad.
I have all these resources at my hands, though. I'm going to use them. They're all on bowl.com/masters. That's going to be the first place to learn, right, Mike?
That is the right place to learn. And yes, he was. He finished at plus 88. He bowled 1088 for his squad, and he was second on that squad. Gary Faulkner Jr., of course, the leader. So we'll get a chance to check this out. So to get you up to speed and everybody at home up to speed on what's going on here, Aaron, we saw B squad take to the lanes this morning. And Jason Sterner, who was leading, his squad jumped into the overall lead by bowling 1051. He's now plus 152.
Okay, that's a nice number. Nice bowling, Jason.
On the C squad, we had Spencer Robarge, the young 18-year-old, the two-handed lefty who wears the crazy clothes, but is mature beyond his years. Bowled 1049 to follow up his 1083 from his first day of qualifying. So he sits second at plus 132. Frankie Lavoie, no stranger to majors, had a nice block. He bowled 1077 to go with his 1054. He sits third at plus 131. Michael Holloman, also coming off the C squad, bowled 1042. And remember, as you know, he's made a master show before. He lost to his good friend Jacob Buttriff in 2019. Right. Former PBA Rookie of the Year. Cameron Crowe, who we interviewed at the end of the squad, bowled a nice last game bowled 236 the last game, bowled 1087 on the squad. He sits at 107 over, tied with Simonson from B squad this morning. Simonson had a nice 1074, and it was a pretty consistent one, 191, 234, 188, 223, 238. So pretty good overall.
Yeah, didn't avoid the bad games there.
Yeah, nothing too terrible there. And then Norm Duke, Storm and Norman Duke, 1064 on his first squad, 1029 the second squad. We got to cover him for about a game and a half earlier if you want to go back and check the archives out. And then in ninth from B squad was DJ Archer. And I got really lucky this morning, Aaron. We had a little hiccups with some technology, but when I got everything fired up and it was streaming perfectly, DJ Archer fired off the front 10, high game in the tournament.
Wow.
Bowled 289 right in front of us, or a 10 pin, a little bit of a weak 10 pin. And what we noticed this morning, Aaron, is the players a lot of them were using urethane, and they were playing anywhere from like 7 to 12, depending on their rev rate. And DJ Archer was crossing around 12 at the arrows, getting it out just to about 9 or so, with just a little bit of room there. Nice soft ball speed. He was using a urethane ball. And, DJ Archer came out and bowled 289, 240. But then as the lanes transitioned, struggled 191, 179, and 181. But he's 90 over. And you know what? DJ looks really good on the fresh. And those match play in the bracket, that's fresh. So he bowled really well. We had Prather go 1076, Andrew Anderson 1072, EJ Tackett bowled an even 1,000. Stuart Williams had the high set on the last block at 1092. So a nice set for Stu, 233, 214, 248, 205, 202, all games over 200.
Very nice.
So he's starting to feel his groove. And then when we go and we look at the overall number, the cut number, which we need to look at 63 because, Buttress in automatically. And I didn't see him jump into a number unless I just missed him. I'll double check that, but I don't see him in the number. So we're looking at 63.
It looks like he's in 84th right now, minus 51.
Minus 25 is the number right now with this squad to go. So yesterday we saw it at minus 10, and we talked about how the number should go up. Well, after two squads, it's at minus 25, which is Marshall Kent. Marshall not a very good squad today, 933 for him. So minus 25, we actually have a tie. Nathan Bohr is also minus 25. Nick Hoagland asked me the same question earlier. He asked me, how are the lanes playing compared to the day before? And I was going through live scoring. I tried to every game, and I would call out games that were over 215 or so, and there would be about 8, maybe, on a good game. But most sub 200. So really low scoring, really demanding, really challenging. And I still disagree with some of the players that are trying to play outside of the seventh board because it's just too inconsistent. If you miss a little right, we've seen some people miss the head pin. Obviously, if you miss left, you see them go Brooklyn. We even saw a couple of guys that were bowling well going so straight up at them that whenever they missed to the right, being a left-hander, they'd go Brooklyn, and we're actually throwing some strikes that way. So some lucky breaks on that. But I really like the track area. And I believe watching A.J. Johnson last night playing just a little bit further in, moving a little bit of a couple boards to the left, paralleling in is kind of the play for the right-handers especially. So that should get you a little bit up to speed, Aaron, everybody at home, of kind of what's been happening here in Reno at the National Bowling Stadium.
Some good stuff there, Mike. I appreciate that rundown. And, you mentioned DJ, and DJ's a guy who's got, I guess I call it a soft touch. So I could see him being able to create a little bit of shape with the urethane into the track area and working from there. I know for a few folks, at least for the pairs that on the high end of the house, the talk during practice in day one is that the high end of the house played a little bit tighter. So that makes that even interesting. We see Matthew, as we talked about, had a great day yesterday. He's kind of trying to get into that no man's land that you were speaking of, and he's kept himself clean so far, or is looking to stay it through 4, but hasn't looked too comfortable out there just yet.
Yeah, no, not yet. And he started with urethane on his first block, and he said that in the interview I did with him. And then he moved, he paralleled in a little bit and was able to go to reactive resin, and his ball reaction looked a lot better. That's when I was down filming him towards the end of the block when he had a really good look. And, I think Diana was probably tired of watching Matt, strike as much as he did. And I would anticipate her moving a little bit further to the left. I haven't had a chance to watch all her shots as I was running down and reading mostly there on our intro. But I would imagine she's going to be just a little bit of a zone left. Not too much, but just a little bit. They really got to try to stay away from the outside part of the lane. And when I say the outside part of the lane, outside of 6, it just doesn't read very well from there.
Excellent report, Michael. We definitely appreciate it. I appreciate it. I wasn't here. And as you mentioned, live scoring available once again throughout the course. So you can watch all 78 lanes, even though technically they're not all going at the same time. But just drop that link in the chat for the folks tuning in.
The other big developing story too, really, I mean, if you're looking at trying to paint a picture here after 2 days, is just look at the standings. And what you're seeing is you're seeing powerful left-handers, and you're seeing traditional one-handed bowlers that have touch, for the most part, rise to the top of the leaderboard. Talking about the right-handers that have touch and finesse and not necessarily overpowering the lanes, Jason Sterner, Frankie Lavoie, Anthony Simonson doesn't fit that bill, so that would be an exclusion to what I just said. But he is playing the lanes extremely straight. He is not hooking the lane very much at all. Norm Duke, who we haven't really heard from all season on the PBA Tour, got to keep your angles in front of you. Look, Norm's in 8th currently right now with a squad to go. DJ Archer, yeah, he can hook it with the best of them, but he's throwing urethane and he's throwing it with touch, soft ball speed. Matthew here right now, who we're watching in front of us, he doesn't do a whole lot to the bowling ball. He's what you consider a tweener. Prather, Andrew Anderson. Another exception to the rule, though, EJ Tackett. He finds himself tied for 12th. Stu Williams, another touch guy. Maria Jose Rodriguez, shows that the ladies have an opportunity here this week to be able to present the way that they throw the ball down the lane with some touch. So, and then you got like a guy like Steve Klempkin, Nick Pate. I mean, just right on down the line, you're able to see that the power game isn't dominating this week. I'm not saying the power game can't win this tournament, but currently right now the power game is not dominating here at the Masters.
I enjoy that variety in the standings there, Mike, as well. Just kind of taking a look at that, I thought that was an excellent description of the players who have found success so far through either 2 rounds or just had the one nice block so far and put themselves in a good position after day 1. I've seen a few people now that you mentioned DJ 289, 240 out of the gates. There was someone yesterday who was right around plus 100 out of the gates as well, and the thing that I find interesting about the scoring pace, you mentioned Stu specifically having 5 games above 200, and just kind of glancing at the scores across, it looked like a few of the guys toward the top of the standings were able to do that yesterday. Kind of looking down at it today, the highs and the lows are there. You're going to have the peaks and the valleys. It's I think it's a matter, though, of being able to maintain as tough as they are, as we've heard from just about everybody all week, 40 feet, 30 mils, an old school look to it all. I find it interesting to see some of the, the trajectory of the block for these players of either, kind of working their way to it, finding a big game or two. Some of them having some big games out of the gates and then kind of stumbling toward the end of the block. So it's all a puzzle getting to it. You mentioned DJ, good on the fresh, but had some struggles in those final 3 games today, but still in a great spot, sitting at plus 90. So I think that's one of the intriguing things, just, even watching a little bit or all day yesterday and coming into it today, I kind of figured things might change a little bit, but that's not really the case.
Yeah, I was really curious to see how A squad's going to attack them tonight too. They were the guinea pigs. They got the bowl, the very first squad. They were getting a feel for the lanes, how they were going to transition with people throwing at spares, cross lane, which you don't see during practice. And now they've had an opportunity to watch 4 squads bowl since their squad, which is B and C, both bowling before them twice. And how will they attack them tonight? Will they do something different? What will their reps tell them? What will the free agents who aren't with companies, what will they do on their own? What kind of hearsay will they have? So, that's going to be interesting to watch. But to your point, and to the point I was making, already this game, Danielle McEwen, another type of touch player, she opens and throws a 4-bagger. Josh Blanchard starts with the front 6. So we're seeing more of the same here. And the other thing I wanted to touch on, you talked about the ups and the downs, the peaks and the valleys. Jason Belmonte, who finds himself in 28th position right now, he went 4 under on the block. And everybody listen to this. His first 2 games, 268, 229. And he went under on the block, under 4. So it just goes to show just kind of what happened to his ball reaction. But then again, he might be trying different things. Once he's in the number, maybe he's searching around and trying things. You never know with Belmo. So it's going to be cool to watch the board. It's going to be really interesting to see these folks here tonight. Like Matthew, who's actually struggling here quite a bit, has yet to throw a strike, and this guy was number 2 on the squad yesterday. Just how they're going to bowl tonight. So more of the same, but look for developing storylines.
That's what we're all about here on Bowl TV. Josh unable to keep the string of strikes going. He is on one of our featured pairs lanes, 57 through 60. You can find that channel if you're watching on desktop or laptop below the video. If you're on a mobile device, in the top right-hand corner, find that 4-box window pane, and you will see all 8 channels available, along with our commentary channels. So if you have a favorite bowler who's hitting a couple pairs, we have lane assignments and more at bowl.com/masters. Check it out. You can follow the house. And, we talked about it. There's the move from Matt. He jumped into resin, made a big jump left. And that was the best shape we've seen from him so far today. Can make a move off that 4-pin now.
Yeah, Diana here is just grinding along. She's got all marks up there on the board. Let's see what happens here. Crossing around the 11th or 12th board. That was really, really close.
Mike, I'm curious from your vantage point if you can tell. I know we talked a lot about urethane kind of in that track area. Is Diana trying to do the same, or is she? I
don't know if that's a pitch purple or if it's an idol. It's of the pinkish purple variety from my vantage point. Let me see if I can sneak a peek here.
I do agree. She's made some pretty good shots. Carrie's been a little tougher to come by, but she is. She's pretty close to having a real nice look here.
Another guy who might have a good block here tonight is Kevin Williams. He sits at -17. He's over on 45 and 46. I'm kind of watching him bowl. He's got a pretty good ball reaction. I'm working on getting you a Diana bowling ball choice here.
That's why you're the man, Mike.
I'm working on it. Oh boy. It looks like a high road pearl with surface. I'm actually going to find out. I'm curious enough. I don't want to get it wrong.
All right. We appreciate it, Mike. Mike Flanagan will be right back here on Bowl TV for the 2021 USBC Masters from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. This is game 1 of 5 for our A squad competitors. As we talked about, they caught the very first block yesterday. So they've been sitting around for a while looking for their opportunity to bowl their second set of 5 games. Our competitors on B squad and C squad already have done so in the books. Scores and more at bowl.com/masters. I believe Mike is back. And based off of that shot right there, that definitely looks like it's I would say not your thing.
Yeah, no, it's a high road pearl with some surface on it. So exactly what I thought it was. I'll tell you that high road pearl is a great bowling ball. When I threw storm stuff there for a while when I worked there, I always loved the high road pearl, one of my favorites of all time. Which, by the way, Aaron Smith, that reminds me, if everybody's ready for this in the chat, we're giving away a storm ball of choice tonight.
Let's go, Michael.
Yes, we are. We should have probably opened with that, but we want to thank Storm very much for being a short duration gold partner. Storm, Roto Grip, and 900 Global. So tonight, folks, you're going to have an opportunity to get a high road pearl if you want, or any other Storm ball that they're currently producing. Remember, Storm Bowling is the leader manufacturer of high performance bowling equipment. Visit your local VIP Pro Shop to pick up your new Storm bowling ball. And hey, everybody, always remember to bowl up a storm.
There we go. That was one of my questions coming in. I forgot to ask before we got the show going. We got a giveaway. Let's go, Mike.
So when do you want to do that, Aaron? Are you gonna do you just randomly pick a time, don't you?
Generally, yeah. We let the folks know it's going to be coming up. This game, that game. If it gets towards the end of the block, we'll obviously work our way to making sure it gets done one way or the other. It's going to happen, but yeah, it's pretty arbitrary. It's dealer's choice, if you will. So, I mean, you're in a gambling town right now, the biggest little city in the world. So we are wheeling and dealing, and happened to do so with bowling balls today. So,
well, here's what we'll do because we're late on the East Coast and we don't want to get any complaints. How about we do it at the end of game number 2?
End of game 2. I'm going to write that down.
You probably should.
It's important to write things down.
Give away a Storm bowling ball to a Bowl TV subscriber tonight at the end of game number 2. If you're not subscribed to Bowl TV and you're watching somewhere else, you can get in this bowling ball drawing by just signing up for Bowl TV. Tonight would be a great time to do so. We got a promo we'll show you in between the games, but PWBA season right around the corner, and you can watch people like Diana Z right here participate all summer long. And she told me in my vlog that this is a warm-up for the PWBA season, and this is a heck of a way to get warmed up. I doubt they'll be this brutal all summer long.
It was funny, Mike, speaking of that, and speaking of Diana, we were chatting with 2 very good friends of hers on the PWBA podcast on Bowl TV just last week, and in chatting with Daria Payuk and Verdi Crawley. Obviously, both of them trying Verdi back, Daria hoping to be back soon to compete on the second swing of the PWBA Tour, and they actually joked when they saw the patterns at the Kickoff Classic Series, especially those first 2, saying, "Hey, what? All those other times, what's Nick doing here? Making, almost a 3-to-1 pattern. People are throwing strikes left and right." And it's like, and they kept joking. It's like, when we come back, it's just going to be flat 1-to-1. That's all we're going to see. It's like we missed the opportunity to open them up, throw some strikes, and put up some scores. But yes, it's typically has been challenging over the course of the past few seasons on the PWBA Tour. Nick Hoagland, I'm not sure his exact title of how to word it, but he's the guy who makes the oil patterns that are used at USBC short duration events, long duration events, the PWBA Tour as well. So Masters, US Open, covered in all of that this week. And, Nick has certainly challenged the competitors on the PWBA Tour season and season again. So there's been some doozies out there. So the players have certainly learned to adapt. And as we talked about with Nick's patterns, occasionally think outside the box on the best ways to find the pocket and put up a big score.
Yeah, decent recovery out of these games we've been watching right here with these 3 bowlers. I do have some other scores to report on here a little bit. We've got Chris Vide out on 5 and 6, can still bowl 223. He's up in the 10th frame. Nick Crummell, who I talked to for quite a while before the practice session. He's got a possible 267 still left on the board down on lanes 13 and 14. Chris Barnes is looking to be in the 220s, heading into the 10th frame here. Christian Azcona, that's another guy. PBA titleist, he can still bowl 243. Dom Barrett kind of getting it going here. He's got a clean game going, but a triple into the 10th frame. So it's a possible 234 left down on lanes 21 and 22. Brandon Novak's going to be in the 230s. Michael Fitzgerald on his pair can still bowl 246. So notice the scores that I'm calling out, Aaron. This is a lot of high scores compared to the scoring pace. So we see that in game number 1 quite a bit.
I felt, we were, or I was, I should at least. You've been here pretty much the whole time, but I feel we've kind of felt that in the early going of these blocks, and even though looking at what A Squad did, they only had 8 players average 200 or better yesterday through their first 5 games. But we had some higher scores, but we kind of thought, looking at that overall leading score that Gary Faulkner had posted, that just the way people were starting, getting out of the gates, that it was going to be like, okay, someone's going to pop 150 over, 160 over, something like that. It just felt like when you get off to a start like that you're going to find a way to, put together that set, and it just never happened. And, we just had the one guy, AJ Johnson, get above the number that Gary posted from A Squad. But it was kind of interesting to see I don't know the proper word for it, but just the kind of the increase in just looking at the plus number and kind of seeing that grow. And then, of course, we talked about the cut line, though, how that number has actually gotten a little bit further away. Is about -10, -12, and now closer to -25. So the way the numbers are working have kept it interesting, and really hasn't kind of defined anything too much yet, which just means that tomorrow night, when we're here during the squad, A, we're going to be doing a lot of math. B, we're going to be doing a lot of following of live scoring. And C, it's going to be exciting. We're going to get to that top 63 or 64, depending on where Jacob gets to. We're going to have some number crunching late at night.
Yeah, we will. And here's some number crunching for you. Anybody that's been tuning in to 57 and 58. Josh Blanchard, 265. Nathan Board, 268. And Tim Foy Jr. can still bowl 213. That's a pretty good pair of 57, 58.
And Josh was one of those players who's even heading into yes. Anthony wasn't sure if he could cross over. Appears he did, though. Thankful not to fall there. That was a lot of momentum going toward the line.
Yeah, Anthony Richmond, I'm familiar with his game. I've streamed a few tournaments in the Midwest. He's bowled some doubles events. The guy can play for sure. And he's always got himself a really good partner, which means there's a lot of really good bowlers that think a lot of that young man's game.
You can definitely see it out here in just in the short time we've been here. That certainly would not argue with you. Scores in the books here: 3 180s out of the gates for Diana Z, 189 leading the way. Anthony 181, and Matthew at 180.
Hey, you want to switch over to 45 and 46 real quick? There's a little bowling left there.
45 and 46, absolutely. Let's do it, Michael. You're looking comfy as ever. I like it.
I am.
You got to do what you got to do, though.
Yeah.
We got some long days there, so it's all about being comfortable when you can. Looks like we got Sean Lavery-Spar, Jonathan Lundquist, Daryl Carry-On, and Kevin Williams.
Yeah, Kevin Williams has got his hair dyed again.
And he's got 4 strikes in a row.
Yeah, I told you he's got a decent look. That one there was definitely inside a target, but that's what I said earlier. I saw Spencer Robards do that twice, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Spencer Robards because the guy was bowling phenomenal. But if you miss just a little right, the lefties have been able to go Brooklyn for a strike. because they're going so much up the lane.
Yeah, that one was definitely not creating the shape you were talking about. That was that one picked up its roll pretty quickly. Sean's going to get to 203.
That could have been a ball change too. You know what I mean? He might have changed balls there in his defense.
Daryl Carry-On, fast fact, Michael Flanagan. Daryl is the owner of not one, but 2 300 games at the USBC Open Championships.
No kidding.
And he is a big fan of donuts. And I know it not just because he's wearing the shirt, it's because he's actually brought us donuts before at tournaments because he's a nice guy like that.
That's pretty cool. Well, how's everybody doing in the chat? Are you happy Aaron's back? Tell us where you're watching from. Maria Jose Rodriguez, Bowl 216, by the way. Our field correspondent, Joseph Angelone, let us know that.
There was definitely a lot of buzz about Maria after that strong performance to kick things off yesterday. And I found it interesting. I watched your video interview with her. Once again, Sport of Bowling USBC on Facebook, at USBC on Twitter, at US Bowling Congress on Instagram to check out all the cool content coming out this week. But I found it interesting how she kind of compared the Masters to the Queens. I thought that was a fair way of looking at it. On the PWBA tour, you put her on the higher rev rate of things, and she talked about being able to get left with some of the players with the bigger rev rates on the PWBA tour, but she said it's a completely different experience with her rev rate compared to what some of the two-handers can do out there in creating something completely different. So I thought that was an interesting way of looking at it. We talked about her having success here at the National Bowling Stadium, winning the Queens in 2014. But I thought that was a great way to look at it. And, that variance is going to help her versatility continue on. And, she had such a great year in 2019 on the PWBA tour and also for Team Columbia. So it's great to see that kind of continue here, even after the longer layoff. She had a great performance in the PBA League, throwing some clutch strikes for the Phoenix Fury. Made it to the main field at the World Series of Bowling, found a little bit of momentum there, and now off to a strong start here at the Masters.
Yeah, hey, Aaron, how about I do a quick promo here, and you take us over lanes 59 and 60. How does that sound?
I like it, Michael. Go ahead.
Hey, everybody, don't forget coming up, the 2021 PWBA schedule has been posted for some time now, and you can join us right here on Bowl TV. Beginning April 22nd through the 24th as we head to Minnesota for the Twin Cities Open, followed up by the Lincoln Open the following weekend, of course, the Greater Cleveland Open, and then, of course, the USBC Queens as well. And you can see the entire schedule there. It's a great opportunity to sign up for Bowl TV for a lengthy subscription, so you get all of this, plus you get all the collegiate tournaments, and of course the short duration tournaments like this one right here. Support the PWBA tour by subscribing to Bowl TV for a longer period of time if you just got an event pass, or if you're watching elsewhere, give us a try over here at Bowl TV. You can also interact with our chat and have a chance to win a Storm bowling ball at the end of this game.
Look at us go there, Michael. That was teamwork right there.
I wanted to go to this pair because it was so high scoring the first game. And now they're bowling on fresh again on a pair that they practiced on and broke down hopefully the same way. So, these guys bowled over 700 for their 3 games. And I'm anxious to see if they can bowl 700 again. So that's why I wanted to go to this pair.
That's an excellent choice. We watched these guys a little bit. I from the get-go, I really like this pairing. 3 very talented players.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that there are some participants in the field that that if they didn't get as good of a pair draw as this, guys that can work together, and I talked about it with Richard Teese and Tommy Jones and Chad Roberts earlier today, they can really work together as well. Those random squad assignments can mess with guys sometimes. It shouldn't. You still got to bowl your game. It's not about who you bowl with. It's how you bowl. But you're right, man. When you get three guys that either have similar styles or that can communicate about how the lanes are playing, it can definitely help you get into the bracket, and it can help you score a few more pins. But it is complete luck of the draw, and it's just something to keep an eye on, But I'm sure these three guys love bowling together, and I'm sure they're looking to bowl another 700 between the three of them.
I know there was a few great pieces actually during day number one here. I actually through the practice session as well. I know in your vlog and then in Matt's recap story for day number one of qualifying, talking about AJ Johnson and Jason Belmonte going out there and essentially, they're bowling together this week for qualifying. And, they talked about, being able to, work together, talk together. So it's, obviously at the end of the week, one of them, wants to beat the other one if it gets down to it. But for the greater good, if you will, is beneficial to everybody on the pair moving throughout the course of that, trying to get everybody to the top 63. So I'd be curious. I would like to hear those discussions someday of what those talks are like. A, when you catch someone B, when you catch someone you don't know. Think about the Open Championships and teams playing together to break down the lane. You have that patience during the first game and a half until you take your opportunity to get more aggressive, and then the scores begin to pile up since you've done such a great job of breaking down the oil pattern. But I'd be curious to hear, a little bit more about those conversations sometime when those guys, especially in an event like, with the Masters here, it's not necessarily, it's a major on the PBA tour, but open to all USBC members. So there certainly is, varying skill levels out there in the field and folks who have never participated in an event like this or a PBA type event. So be curious to hear some things from players on just what that experience is like and those conversations.
Aaron, I've been watching the chat over here. We got people from all over the world watching this here tonight or in the morning, depending on what time they're watching. Little housekeeping for our field correspondent, JT, the man. If there's any chance when you get a moment, if you could take 59 and 60 and zoom out just a little bit so we can get Blanchard's score up on the scoreboard, we would greatly appreciate that, sir. And I know he'll get to that here shortly. And I also want to talk about Josh for a minute. Here's a guy who was out here bowling full-time for close to 10 years, I believe it was. Full-time, a lot of pressure. He's got a family. Also owned a couple pro shops. Got out of the pro shops. Continued to bowl on tour. Got himself a job with the PBA. He's now, an amateur bowler. It's got an A next to his name on the sheet. And it's got to loosen up the arm swing. It's got to loosen up that arm swing. He's got a guaranteed job. This is a treat for him. This is not, I got to go to Reno for another gig. No. This is a treat to get to come out here and compete. And I just got to think that makes a difference mentally for a player like him. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sunday we see Josh Blanchard on the show.
I like that. We had Josh join during B Squad yesterday. We had a good old time. We had Chris Barnes, we had Packy, we had Josh all on the broadcast chatting away. Kind of let them run with it for a little bit, and it was good stuff going back and forth, kind of discussing what was going on in the lanes and tournament life and everything. And talking to Josh, kind of about that, he did mention there, after being away from it for just a little bit here, he was, there were some initial nerves coming out. You get that bug. I mean, he's a competitor. He's as you mentioned, he's done it for so long since his days at Wichita State, winning national titles left and right, and moving on to the PBA tour from there. But yeah, certainly has settled in, and a nice day. When you looked at the scores from that block, I'm sure very happy. I mean, you can always get more. That's the thing. Everyone's going to say that, but walking away with even score going into day 2, well within the number.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, big shout out to JT, by the way. Thanks for taking care of that for us a few minutes ago.
It was nicely done. Agree.
You want to talk about a guy that's had an easy job today, and just had a cush job, just came rolling in here, didn't have much to do today, just been kicking back all day long. That's JT. I mean, I tried looking for him for a while, and he was eating lobster somewhere and some steak. I'm trying to keep him awake over there. He's got a headset on. I'm trying to keep him awake because I would already be passed out if I would have had to that's why he's so slim. It has nothing to do with that diet that he did with Valerie. It has nothing to do with that. It's working these events. He's got to have a step counter. His step counter's got to be in the 100,000s at least.
I think that would be another fun challenge for bowling stadium events moving forward. Between the ball reps, the live stream guys. But certainly a big thanks to JT. An unheralded job this week of making sure all these cameras are up and running. We're simulcasting to Flow Bowling as well. So for all the viewers out there, next time you see Jason Thomas, say thanks. Thanks for all that awesome Masters and soon to be U.S. Open coverage on Bowl TV and Flow Bowling.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm going to task him with something. He's listening, so this isn't going to be a surprise now. But since he's had such an easy day, I wanted to run a contest on social media tomorrow. I'm actually going to take a picture from high up above of all the bowling balls on the concourse that we have here, and I need him to go through tonight and count how many there are, because that's going to be the contest, like looking at a giant gumball with all the Skittles in them or whatever, big fishbowl. So JT tonight, no big deal. If you don't mind counting all the bowling balls for us here in the bowling center, we'll do that contest tomorrow.
There's probably an easier way to do that than have him. Don't they have ball cards they have to turn in this week?
Oh,
maybe that's at the U.S. Open. Maybe the U.S. Open is the ball card event.
Well, Roger Nordick's not here to run that spreadsheet to make it easy on us. So just seeing if the Raj Mahal is watching this late at night. We're checking his time clock with that comment. So even though Josh has a good ball reaction, he's if he doesn't get it into the lane well enough, or he just misses it a little bit, he goes light, and obviously if he gets it going up the lane too much or is a little soft with it, he's right through the face, and that's what we've seen the last couple shots from Blanchard. But Tim Foy is like, hey guys, what about me? I'm right here.
Early 4-bagger for the two-hander. Mr. Foy, some recent TV experience as well at the Players' Championship. I believe that was the East Regional.
A player to watch this game down on lanes 3 and 4 also, in my opinion, is Osku Palermo. Spare triple. Osku's got a different look about him this week. I think he's a lock for match play.
Mike, we got to get Bowl TV to the point where we got sound effects in certain situations. You have these contests, these head-to-head gentlemen's bets. You got locks of the week. There should be sound effects with all these.
I think it's more like a circus. Doot, 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 doot. You didn't hear me earlier. I was singing Elmo's song, except it was Belmo's Squad.
I have no comment towards that because neither did Tim Foy.
No,
apparently.
Tim Foy's like, dude, come on.
He's
I'm
like,
trying to bowl.
I'm just trying to. I'm gonna pretend you didn't tell me that, so I don't have to go back and try and look and find it just to experience that. So I'm just gonna pretend you didn't tell me that.
I think it was in game 2. All right, Timmy. Yeah, they do have a little camaraderie going on with this pair right here. Tim was the low guy the first game, too, by the way. You watch these guys go 250, 260. I think he had 210. Blanchard with the 260. There you go. This is cool to watch. Nathan Bohr, look at this guy. I don't know if he's got a dog, but I'm sure the dog has some sort of bowling name. His car is probably named after something bowling related. This is a guy who wakes up, lives, breathes, sleeps bowling every single day. He's out here bowling right now. You'll go out to the women's tour, he'll rep it. You'll see him drilling balls. You'll see him bowling leagues. This guy just bowls all the time or has something to do with bowling constantly.
And that's why he's so darn good.
Yeah, and one of the nicest guys in the world, too. I mean, he's just
absolutely
super nice guy. And, we talked about Belmo wearing the strike on his shirt, on how, that helps you strike. I wonder if the 10 on Nathan Bohr's shirt helps him knock down 10 every time.
I believe I've asked Nathan this in the past, and not related to the 10, but I believe it's soccer related because Sandra Gongora was wearing a number jersey during the PWBA Kickoff Classic, and when we asked Nathan somehow Nathan heard about it and he knew right away what we were talking about. So I believe that potentially has something to do with soccer as well. But talking about the photo that you were talking about, looking at all the bowling balls on the concourse, I think one of the great items in bowling history, legacy, and lore is the Nathan Bohr face shirt. Are you familiar with this, Michael?
I am.
But I believe I've asked Nathan before if he knows how many tiny pictures of his head are on that jersey, and I don't think he told me the number. I think he knows, but it's one of those great mysteries out there. Unlike what happened to lanes 79 and 80 at the National Bowling Stadium, because I did catch that a little bit earlier. I heard
you did?
I heard Matt Cannizzaro dropping some history. So,
well, they told us we were going to have somebody checking in on the broadcast to make sure we were doing an okay job, and now you just outed yourself. Make sure you write me up in the report with some sort of positive comments. Hey, how about we preview game number 3 coming up? How about we tell the people that we're going to go to lanes 69 and 70 for game number 3 and feature Kyle Troop, who has Player of the Year implications, and Danielle McEwen for game number 3. You want to go there, game 3?
Game 3, you said 69 and 70?
Yeah.
All right. How about we'll give our bowling ball away, and then we'll go to 69 and 70.
Yeah, we'll do that at the end of this game.
How about that? Plans coming together. I know Kyle had a bit of a rough opening block. He was a little bit farther down in the standings.
Yeah, he happens to be on 43 and 44 right now, which is a pair that we don't have cameras on because they've got this giant staircase there that we just cannot get a camera there. So that's why I thought, I just watched him kind of give a fist pump a minute ago. Which we haven't seen that yesterday at all from Kyle. He was quite confused, but he's getting lined up now, and I think he'll be a great person to feature during game number 3 when he moves down there to 69 and 70. Also bowling with him is Benjamin Sobel, Ricky Schuschler, and Danielle McEwen. So, and Danielle's minus 16 right now after a disappointing performance at the PWBA Fall or Kickoff Classic, I should say. So good to see her out here throwing the rock around pretty good. So we'll have that for you in game number 3.
But we have right now is scores after 1 here for our competitors on A squad.
Oh, nice.
So taking a look at that, Gary Faulkner Jr., 203 to get to plus 106. Maria Jose Rodriguez, 216 to get to plus 95. Nick Crummell, you mentioned him, a big 267 out of the gates. That gets him to plus 81. Matthew Zweig dropped to plus 68. Josh Blanchard moving up 265 to get to plus 65. Coming in right at 200 after 5 games yesterday. Brandon Novak, 233 to get to plus 47. Nathan Bohr, you mentioned 268. He's at plus 43. You can see that up on the big board as well. Michael Fitzgerald, 245 to get to plus 9. Chris Barnes, 211 to get to plus 8. Brian Robinson, 220 in game 1 to get to plus 4. And Mr. Timothy Foy Jr., 213 plus 1, the final player plus currently here on A Squad after 6 total games. The cut number at the moment, Michael, is Oscar Palermo. He had a 144 in the opener, so gave some of those pins back. But sitting at minus 17, he's actually tied right now with Wesley Lowe and Zach Weedman, who are already in the books today with that score. So minus 17, the current number with our defending champion, Jacob Buttriff, currently outside the top 64 players.
Yeah, and I said Oscar was a lock. Now he's the number. This isn't good, but I can tell you that he's still clean through 7 frames down on 3 and 4. Want to give a shout out to Sean Walker hanging out with us. How's it going, Sean? Also, everybody that's watching and participating in the chat. We see you from all over the world in here. And also, I got to give a special shout out to my man, Mark Waters. He said, enjoyed the YouTube you did after the practice session. Finally got to catch up while doing some pro shop work. So, first of all, Mark, thanks for drilling all those bowling balls for people and making sure they get the proper fit. Make sure when you're getting your new bowling ball, you go to a pro shop that can fit you properly. And thanks for giving a little kudos on the video I put out the other day. You know, we were supposed to have one other guy here this week. We were going to have one more member of the team, but he couldn't make it. And I really wanted to put out some more of that type of content. So I'm going to try to put something together maybe tomorrow, and if not, maybe on one of the bracket days, I'll put out another piece because people seem to really enjoy that.
Is it bracket days YS or ZE?
I'm gonna go ZE.
I like it. It's edgy that way.
Yeah, it is, and I want to put the Z backwards.
I like it.
And I don't think we need to let JT off the hook either. I think we need to get some excellent analysis of what he's seen all day today and what's happening here with these A squad bowlers. Probably when we go into game number 3. So let's tease that. Let's tease JT coming in to drop some knowledge during game number 3 after the bowling ball giveaway, and when we're focusing on Kyle Troop with Player of the Year implications here, trying to get into the top 64 bracket with Tom Doherty not here. Oh, I see JT over there. He's just pulled out a legal pad.
He's got the notes ready.
Yeah, 2 notebook computers. He's got a Microsoft Surface and a giant iPad Pro. I don't know why he's doing both operating systems, but he's working on it. I'm trying to figure out a way to give him the day off tomorrow. Problem is, I don't know how to get all these stream codes to get us up and running.
Thanks to John for the kind words in the chat. Hello to PWBA Tour Champion Brianna Cote. And
hello, Brianna. Congratulations on the win again.
And to our buddy Sean, congratulations. He's heading to Dayton, Ohio, Polking Lane South, with the number 2 ranked Wisconsin Whitewater Warhawks to sectionals. So it's part of the announcement a little bit earlier today.
Yeah, I just saw in the chat here, somebody said, where's Tom Doherty? He elected not to bowl this event nor the U.S. Open, but it gives me another idea for a social contest. We could put Jason Thomas somewhere inside these bags laying down, and instead of where's Waldo, where's Jason Thomas?
I like it's interesting. That seems tough. We need to get back to like the, we talked about the pattern, some of the guys referencing the mid 2000s. We got to get back to, the the 4-ball roller with the 2 levels. You know, some of the guys would stack that, get that up to 6. You know, that's the kind of size you need to be able to kind of like hollow out the inside. All of a sudden, that turns into a whole slew of things. But that's the hiding spot there. These kids today with their 3-ball roller totes. Where's the space at?
Yeah, and the 6-ball bags are like fortresses. So Blanchard, not what he was looking for there in the 10th frame. Not a good shot. 182. But Tim Foy and Nathan Bohr, they got some big games going here, don't they?
Certainly do. Foy still a chance to get to 268, and for Nathan, 259 out there.
Yeah, so we had 250, 260, 210 from this group in game number 1, and we got a possibility at 250, 260, 180 from this group. Bohr can go 100 over his first 2 games, I think.
Now, here's going to be the curious thing. This is why, and I'm going to guess from the move, he's probably hopping to the low end right here. I got this somewhere where I can.
Yeah, I can find it for you.
Look this up, but I'm going to be curious to see if the scoring pace will be able to keep up with him. And he's not going to get to that plus 100. He's going to be.
Well, he bowled 268.
268, so maybe right at it then. He could still get to 37. Basically right there. But I want to see. Maybe Nathan's going to be the one who gets off to that hot start and all of a sudden puts up 770 or something like that.
Yeah, they go to 9 and 10 from here, Aaron.
9 and 10. All right.
Yeah.
So going to be keeping an eye on Nathan the next game, live scoring. Because I know through yesterday, I don't think anybody got to plus 100 after 3. Maybe A.J. Johnson after that strong start.
Yeah, I think
I knew he had a game where he slowed down a little bit, but that's the only one I can remember right now.
251, 235, 243 out of the gate.
Okay, so he was there.
Don't forget, everybody, we are just minutes away from giving away a Storm bowling ball of your choice. Don't forget, Storm Bowling is the leading manufacturer of high-performance bowling equipment. Visit your local VIP Pro Shop to pick up your new Storm bowling ball. And always remember to bowl up a storm.
Final tally for Nathan, 236. Tim Foy Jr. getting up for his first shot of frame number 10. 268 out there. Big jump. Started this game plus 1. Just asking for help. Gets it. Enjoys the cheers from the crowd. All right, folks, for everyone watching on Bowl TV, this giveaway is going to happen after Tim completes his 10th frame. You'll have a countdown. If you're watching in full screen, you might want to take that down so where you can see the chat and everything. But it'll be in the bottom left-hand corner. It's going to have a little countdown saying a giveaway is going to begin shortly. And then you're going to see a button that pops up that says Submit Entry. It's going to be blue. That's all you have to do is click on that. As long as it says you're registered, you will be good to go for a chance to win a Storm bowling ball of your choice. We gave away a 900 global bowling ball yesterday. And you know what? We may just have another bowling ball to give away tomorrow. So we certainly appreciate everyone tuning in. It's part of the Bowl TV experience. 264 to get to plus 65, Tim Foy. So now it is time, everybody. I want to wish you best of luck. Once again, we'll have the countdown first, and then about another 45 seconds after that to hit the submit entry button. It will randomly select One Lucky Bowl TV fan. So good luck. And as we sit back here, Michael, it was 69 and 70. That's where we were going to go. Where we were going to live this next game. Kyle Troop, Danielle McEwen. I like it. So we'll pop back out for a second here.
Yeah, once again, everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. We know it's late on the East Coast. Just a reminder, we will be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock, 1:30. I'm sorry, 8 o'clock, 1:30, and 7 p.m. are the times. We were originally supposed to be here at 7 a.m., but it was moved back to 8 o'clock. So whoever did that, you get a birthday card or a Christmas gift for sure.
I'm a fan of both. It wasn't me, but yes, nice to have the extra hour back. Definitely some long days here, but that's what it's all about, Michael. That's what we do.
I certainly feel a lot more comfortable with you back here.
Well, I'm glad. That makes me feel.
If we ever work an event,
feel good.
Yeah, we ever work an event where there's just Wirecast only, I'll let you just sit back and do the cush job like I'm doing right now. Okay. I'm a Wirecast master. Actually, I'm a StreamYard master too because I showed you something.
Yes, after last night, yes. Congrats to Dan P99 winning the Storm Bowling Ball of your choice. Dan, our marketing team will reach out to you in the next couple days to find out what bowling ball you want and make sure it gets to you. So congratulations. And a big thanks once again to Storm, one of our gold industry partners, for helping us in this giveaway.
Hey, you want to do the promo together, Aaron? I'll finish it. You start it.
Fire away, Mike.
Oh, you want me? I'll start it. Okay, here we go. All right, everybody. That giveaway was brought to you by Storm Bowling Products. Storm is the leading manufacturer of high-performance bowling equipment. Visit your local VIP Pro Shop to pick up your new Storm bowling ball. And
we should have rehearsed this.
always remember to bowl up a Storm. Put him on the spot. Look at that. He's helping me out this block, and I just set him up for failure. And you gave me these notes too, man. All these notes right here. I've been spitting out notes like you and Matt C can do off the top of your head, but I've been doing it because you gave me the notes, which is great.
I should have them a little bit closer. I'm not going to lie. But Mike, I know you're looking to take advantage of these last few games to continue to create some excellent content. You've been doing it all week, and it's been a lot of great stuff out in the social space. The Sport of Bowling USBC page on Facebook, at USBC on Twitter, at US Bowling Congress on Instagram. Big shout out to Kim as well for putting in the long hours alongside us. Caitlin rocking the IG story as well. When I got home last night, I went through all of them, and my goodness, that was extra 25 minutes of sleep. It felt like that I probably could have gotten if I didn't watch it, but I got to see so much cool content from across the National Bowling Stadium.
Yep, she's doing a great job. Kim's doing a great job, and shout out to Roger and Kate and the rest of the marketing team back at headquarters, also assisting folks that are subscribers, helping us put things together, and of course Brock and Andrew also and their teams providing a lot of editing for us and graphics that we wanted. So all right, well, they've moved over here now. This was a special request of mine. I picked this pair. I picked the last pair. I got Danielle McEwen, Ricky Schischler, Kyle Troop, and Benjamin Sobel right here. You know, the PBA playoffs are a really big deal. And it's the top 16 players in points after the U.S. Open are going to earn spots into the PBA playoffs. Kyle Troup, Tom Doherty, and Francois Lavoie have accumulated enough points to guarantee their spots into the PBA playoffs. A person to watch this week and next week is Sean Maldonado because he holds the final spot heading into the Masters. And winning his first career title at the PBA Chameleon Championship is what's put him in that position. Some notable players outside of the top 16 are Tom Smallwood, who's not competing in this event but will be here for the U.S. Open. Jason Belmonte sits 18th. Tommy Jones is 19th. Sean Rash, who had to withdraw from this event, or chose to withdraw, I should say, because he wasn't feeling well this morning and didn't want to risk the potential spread of COVID if he indeed has it. He just wasn't feeling well, so he's taken extreme caution today by withdrawing from the event. Sam Cooley is in 22nd. Marshall Kent, 23rd. Dom Barrett, 24th. A.J. Johnson in 26th. Wes Malott, 27th. Now we got Norm Duke on the list just for fun. He's in 43rd, and with a couple of really good performances this week, he can jump into the top 16.
Well, Mike, maybe 43rd right now on the PBA playoffs point list, but I know number one in your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a look at Kyle Troup here. Oh, let's not take a look at Kyle Troup.
Is that the fish in the ocean type shirt right there?
It looks like it. The aquarium. He didn't have the fro going on the practice day. He had it like permed. It felt like a perm. Let's take a look and see where he's playing and what he's using. Whoa, that's not a good shot. Almost fell down. That was really close to being a foul. Little footing issue there from Troup.
That's got to be a little unnerving going to a new pair. Kyle has moved up. A couple spots in the standings after.
Yeah, we had a request
after
here.
A start here.
Yeah, we had a request here for a rundown of the top 10. Of course, available over at bowl.com, but I got no problems reading this off for you here. From B Squad, Jason Sterner leads. He's got 10 games in the books, plus 152. From C Squad, Spencer Robarge is in second at plus 132. That's 20 pins behind. In third is Francois Lavoie. He's at plus 131, just one pin behind Spencer Robarge. He was also on the C Squad. In fourth, also on C Squad, Michael Holloman at plus 121. Fifth from C Squad, Cameron Crowe at plus 107. Tied with Anthony Simonson from B Squad at plus 107. So then we go down to seventh, which is Gary Faulkner, who's bowling this squad right now, and is at plus 106 with a 203 in the books for his first game. Also in eighth is Maria Jose Rodriguez, who is also bowling on this squad, who bowled 216 the first game. She sits at plus 95. Norm Duke has got 10 games in the books from the C Squad at plus 93. And rounding out your top 10 is requested. DJ Archer has 10 games under his belt, and he sits at plus 90. And with 10 games under your belt at plus 90, that means that's a 209 average even. Pretty easy math to do there.
Is there a greater joy in stat keeping than game 10 averages being the exact same as the pinfall total?
It's amazing. It's the greatest thing ever. I think all tournaments should be 10 games and go to a step ladder.
No additional math necessary, but for Kyle today, he started off minus 97, 224 in the first game to get to minus 73, and now according to the scoreboard at minus 55. So trending in the right direction. Certainly had to.
Do you know what they say about a trend? A trend is your friend.
And that rhymes too.
There's also a bowling ball by Storm Bowling Products who gave away that bowling ball at the end of the last game, called a trend.
It could be. The trend, wasn't that the ball Francois Lavoie shot 300 with at the, what was that? That was a playoffs last year when he did that, right?
Yeah, Belmo's ball. Hey, Aaron Smith, why don't we go over our picks from the other day where I put you guys on the spot and we all picked amateurs in the field, see who would do the best. And I came out of the gates with Steve Klimpkin, USBC Hall of Famer. He is currently in 19th position at plus 55. That was my pick.
It was an excellent pick. It was so good we got to talk to Steve after day number 1 and get some insight after he wrapped up on B Squad. Taking a look at our picks to click from the non-professional side, or the players with an A by their name. Jason Thomas was second up there. He picked Spencer Robarge, the young two-hander. And as you just ran off with the standings, Spencer currently second overall, plus 132. I also went the young player route, Cameron Crowe. Junior Team USA member, Team USA member. He's tied for 5th right now at plus 107. Our guy, Matt Cannizzaro.
He took Anthony Nyer, didn't he?
He kind of went multiple routes there. So he mentioned Anthony and he mentioned Cortez Shank. Cortez currently at plus 47. Anthony will have a little work to do tomorrow. He's at in the books through 10 games at minus 150. So
Kyle Troop struggling this game. Well, we promised 3 things a little while ago. We promised a giveaway.
check.
We promised that we were going to have Kyle Troop on the broadcast. And we promised that we would get some in-depth analysis of what's been going on here today from Jason Thomas. Those are the 3 things that we promised. And currently right now, we've delivered on 2 of those. I just saw a nice split conversion off to the right over there. It looked like a 2-4-8-10.
Looks like from Jonathan Lundquist. Over on 73 and 74. And Mike, it appears Jason Thomas has put himself in position here.
Yeah, he's ready.
All right, as Mike puts his feet up, looking comfy as ever. Jason Thomas, hello. Welcome to A Squad.
Hi. How are you guys doing this evening?
Doing well. Mike's commandeered 2 chairs. I got a nice new comfy chair here in the Bull TV studio. So we're sitting back, relaxing, watching some bowling, some Kyle Troop, some Danielle McEwen, counting down some scores. We gave some giveaways, but I know you are the gentleman who's been keeping it all together so far. So we appreciate that. The glue holding it all together on the Bull TV side this week.
Yeah, if I could only tell you some of the stories of the things that I've dealt with this week. The last thing I just dealt with, you just wouldn't believe it. I unfortunately can't talk about it, but it's pretty interesting. And it's also pretty interesting how much time we spend here and how little some of us actually get to watch bowling.
It's funny how that works sometimes. Working in a bowling tournament and being able to watch bowling don't necessarily coincide sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been an interesting day. Things seem to have the boat seems to have leveled out, smooth sailing. But I have watched a little bit of bowling. I'm a little surprised that the number hasn't gone up a little more than it has. I expected kind of by the end of today the number to get close to around even, but I did get an interesting insight from Sean Ryan earlier today, which was he basically said today's not the day that people are going to try, the really risky ideas, and I think some of the really risky ideas might actually work on this pattern. So I think there's a potential for some big runs tomorrow from some players. I think anybody who's 100 under or better is still alive with a chance, and I think there's going to be a few runs tomorrow. So it does seem like the lefties have a little tiny bit better look than the righties, not by much, but and they're still dead brutal on the left, but it does seem to be a little bit less or a little more predictable, but certainly not lopsided in any way. And the defending champion, who happens to be one of the best bowlers in the world, as being tapped while I'm on a live broadcast. The lefty is probably the best lefty in the world. Is not even in the cut, but he's in the cut automatically. So,
and that's one of the advantages in Jacob's position. It's an opportunity to perhaps use these games more as a bigger look at a practice session compared to just the hour they got on. Was that Monday? I don't even know. Today's Wednesday, right? Does it sound like a Wednesday? Does it feel like a Wednesday?
It is a Wednesday. Yes.
Mike, what did you have to eat today? That'll tell me what day it is.
Yeah, I really don't want to talk about that right now. That's a bit of a sore subject. Not a lot open right now. And I mean that. The other thing about JT, I heard you talking about, how he's the glue that holds everything together. If you've ever seen the movie Stripes, JT is our Sergeant Hulka. He is our big toe.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, but it certainly felt like somebody else had the big toe and he was sticking it somewhere this morning for me. So I appreciate that. But
maybe you're more like Commandant Lassard from Police Academy.
Mahoney. Who's the other? Who's
Proctor?
Proctor, yeah, that's me.
And then you got Michael Winslow and all the other great people in that movie, but we won't bore people with that.
I'm more like John Larroquette's character in Stripes.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, you said the best lefty in the world, Jacob Buttriff. We could argue that Jesper Svensson is the best lefty in the world, and right now he's in 55th position after bowling 203, 195, minus 10. But in the chat, because they are the best field correspondents we've ever seen in our life, they let us know that he's bowling a good game in this game. So Jesper's another guy that down the stretch you could see on the show and could win this thing. It's conducive to him being able to bowl well.
He certainly is a great lefty, a great bowler in general. But I would say it is between those two guys for top lefty honors on the tour currently. But then there's these two kids. One of them in college, a sophomore, and then one of them isn't even in college yet, and they're in the top 5. So that's pretty cool to see. That's a great story.
Certainly so. And Mike mentioned he talked about scores after We got 2 games in, and it's showing now on bull.com. So we will give you that quick rundown. Specifically on A squad first, Gary Faulkner Jr. continues to lead the way. He's at plus 100 for A squad. Maria Jose Rodriguez plus 83. Nathan Bohr continuing to move up the standings, and we'll take a look at him in just a second as well. Way on the low end, kind of keeping tabs of him after a 268, 236 start. He's at plus 79. Tied with Nick Crummell currently on the block. Tim Foy, that 264, got him to plus 65. Brandon Novak, plus 59. Josh Blanchard, plus 47. Matthew Zweig, plus 47. So Matthew, unfortunately, trending a little different path so far in the early going here today after plus 88 in round number 1. Brian Robinson, plus 36. Michael Fitzgerald, plus 27. Dom Barrett, plus 5. Actually, Dom's had a real nice day to kick things off here, 231, 233. Kevin Williams, plus 5 as well. And then Chris Vyatt, minus 1. A very up and down experience so far for Chris after 223, 253 yesterday. He went 154, 155, 178 to finish minus 37. Today he's gone 223, 213. All that work to be at minus 1, but he's currently in 49th place. The cut number at the moment, minus 19. So
went up 6 pence, right?
Well, it was minus. Well, I think from the start of the block, yes, but it was minus 17 after last game. So, but is continuing to go up.
Yeah, that pair that we watched the first 2 games that was pretty incredible. Tim Foy now has 204 left on 9 and 10. Nathan Bohr, spare double, spare triple. Josh Blanchard, spare strike, spare open, spare strike. So Nathan Bohr keeping it going, and you kind of called that, Aaron. You said that he might be a guy we could see shoot about 770 or so. He's well on his way right now. Also, in front of us here, what we've been watching here on the screen is we've been talking about a lot of other things. Danielle McEwen opened up with a really nice game. She bowled, 236? And she followed it up with not that great of a game, but she's really struggled on this pair here.
And you could say the same for Kyle too. And I want to say, just based off of the jump procedure, I'm guessing they came from potentially the middle of the house, closer to from the first 2 games, and that's been a talk for a lot of folks. Is it gets tighter on the high end of the house, and it seems like folks are paying a little bit bigger penalties down this way. Granted, we've seen some big scores certainly, but it seems like that move to the when the numbers start to get into the 50s, 60s, and 70s, it seems just to get a little trickier after some of the stuff the folks have been seeing in the lower end of the house.
Kyle Troop has not struck on this lane this game, but is perfect on the other lane.
It started right out of the gates. Lost his footing on that very first shot. Actually left a 2-8 in that very first frame and unable to convert.
The difference between those 2 shots, though, is he almost fell on the lane, not being able to keep his footing on the first shot. And that one there he thought was pretty good off his hand. Same result.
.224, 218 out of the gates for Kyle so far today. Had jumped to minus 55 to get to 85th place overall. and certainly an manageable place to get into the cut after minus 97 in day one. And the tale of two lanes continues here for Kyle. JT, we've talked about your tournament experience just on the broadcast before, casually after a long day of live streaming, talking about bowling and just what's the proper comparison? We had Brett Spengler on yesterday, and he's the Twitter king of bowling. And I asked him to compare, what was the gift that would describe what was going on A Squad yesterday. But JT, what's the reference? What's the comparison when you have no problem on one lane, you're striking for days, and you cannot get anything going on the other lane, and you potentially turn it into a frustrating game, kind of like what Kyle's had going here in Game 3.
Yeah, are you familiar with the story of Sisyphus? You ever hear the phrase a Sisyphean task?
I have not.
So Sisyphus was punished by the gods. This is a Greek fable. And for eternity, he was doomed to roll a boulder to the top of a hill where it would just roll down the other side. And then you'd have to go down and push it back up to the top of the hill, and then it would roll down the other side. That's kind of what it was like here. I mean, if you watched Belmo Bowl today, we thought he comes out of the gate, he shoots 260, 230, and we think, oh, Belmo's going to whack him today. He's going to shoot 200 over. And he ends up going backwards and, shooting 15 or 20 over. So it's just when you think you've figured it out, you don't have it figured out. DJ Archer, perfect example. He came out of the gate 289, 240. And ended up shooting 50 over for the block. So it's going to be really wild when we get into these matches. And there's going to be a lot of lefties in the finals. And again, I said the left side is not easy. It is very, 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 very difficult. But I think there's a little more consistency going across the house. But when we get into the matches, all those matches take place on one pair. So, and then if there's a lot of lefties in the bracket, they're going to bowl against each other. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. Tomorrow, I think we're going to see some fireworks. I think somebody's going to come out with, guns blazing, needing to shoot a big number, and they're going to be able to figure it out, maybe catch a run of 5 good pairs where they have a good look and make a little bit of a run. But man, it's just really hard out there for everybody. And just when you think you've got something figured out, the condition or the next pair pulls the rug out from under you, and you shoot 150.
Got our A Squad leader Gary Faulkner up here. We were watching his 10th frame. Wanted to cut down there. Appreciate you going over there, Aaron. It's an opportunity to take a look at Gary a little bit as he finishes there with 223. So he improves
223, yep.
123.
And we talked about the roller coaster, the up and down, and Gary, had a big start, had a strong finish, but had to work through it the rest of the games 2, 3, and 4. 220, 186, 192, kind of fight to stay even, taking advantage of the pairs when he could hit them. But moving right along, once again, a player. I thought it was funny. We asked him, his world championship win came here at the National Bowling Stadium and talk about, being back in a place you found success. And he said, frankly, he's like, well, I've struggled here too. So it's, you take the good with the bad when you have it. So, but Gary's looked very comfortable. We see the one missed single pin up there, but had a chance to get into the 240s there, stepping up in the 10th, take a nice 223, continue to pad that number. And it's going to be in a pretty nice position here. It's looking like for the rest of this block and tomorrow's block as well to comfortably be in the number.
Hey, we got 71 and 72, don't we?
We do, yes.
I think that's where we should go for game number 4 because we got AJ Chapman, Martin Larson, Nick Crummell, and Josh Jones. Nick Crummell having a nice block here to get started. I think that would be a good pair to go to.
All right, we can catch the end of Kyle Troop and Danielle McCune as well. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Back to the high end of our high end, at least on our Bowl TV coverage this week.
Bowl TV Studios West out here.
I enjoy this expansion that we have taken on this week.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you and I can be on the broadcast together, I think we can enhance things a little bit with switching of things around from 2 different locations. This is going pretty well tonight, I got to say.
Well, Michael, you're a very quick learner, and you've taught me things already. So this relationship is beneficial to both of us.
Yeah, just wait until you get my twice baked potato recipe.
As John in the chat mentioned, Kyle did find a double there. So we had JT explain the theory of the theory there, and Kyle said that's enough. Found a strike on lane 70 and looking to continue on his good lane so far. Has not missed on lane 69 yet.
Yeah, and you just got a feel for Danielle. She hasn't thrown a strike the whole game. There's Kyle out there running them out.
That's this could be a huge bailout for him for this particular game.
Oh yeah,
just absolutely humongous. 203 out there with how things were trending in the early going. To the bank. Also to the bank here. Ildemaro Ruiz, 267 to get to 698 for her first 3 so far today. Looks like Matt Sanders is struggling a little bit this game, but off to a strong start regardless over a 19 and 20. Nathan Bohr, 235 that game, so 739 out of the gates for Nathan. Tim Foy at 681. Josh Blanchard, some struggles that game, 614 after the strong start for him.
Players may begin game number 4.
Nice 254 for Brian Robinson.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody knows this, but Brian Robinson, he was a one-handed bowler and converted to two-handed bowling 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, there we go. I will admit I did not know that. So there we go. We're learning things every day here on Bowl TV, folks.
Yeah, there was like an injury or something, and he had something happen with his thumb, and he just started bowling two-handed, and he bowled better. and he bowls it's like he bowls the US Open if he's allowed in, or he bowls this event every year.
Big save there for Kyle Troop. 201 to once again, he's about 30 pins out of the cut. They stay at minus 54. tough game for Danielle there. That's going to be a big drop to get to minus 100. Look at 71, 72 now. Martin Larson, AJ Chapman, Joshua Jones, and Nick Krummel. Krummel's was pretty solid through the first 3 games today so far.
I want to address Henry's question in the chat. He asked, "Hi in the booth. Can you tell me why there can't be cameras on every lane so we can watch our favorite bowlers from beginning to end?" That's a really good question, Henry. The first thing I'd like to say is I can remember. Now I sound like my father. I can remember back in the day when we only had one channel, and you watched one channel, right? But the folks here at Bowl TV have expanded their coverage to be able to have 8 different pairs of lanes, 8 different channels. And in addition to that, oftentimes in big events like this, what'll happen, and I'm just filling in this week helping out, but that's why I wanted to speak to this, is they can typically set up the cameras further back so you can cover more pairs with just one camera and build out the scoreboards. But because this is I learned it was a 78-lane bowling center, not an 80-lane bowling center on the last squad, trying to cover 78 lanes with cameras is quite an undertaking. I have experience with running inside bowling live streams myself to where I only have one feed, and I'm just mesmerized with these folks here being able to do 8. So even though you won't be able to watch every single pair, and because it is spread out more, because of the COVID implications here, where you see the dark pairs on each side of the pairs that we're covering, that also creates a bit of a challenge. But the good news is with the skip procedures that if you do have someone that you do enjoy to watch bowl, you will be able to tune in, be able to watch them for at least 2 games during the block, which I think is kudos to the Bowl TV team that's been able to do that for you. I'm sure one day we'll get to the point where every single pair will be covered. But for right now, we got the 8 different channels rolling, which I think is a huge breakthrough for live streaming that really just only happened about a year ago. So thanks for the question. We'll put it in the idea box, and I'm sure they'll have a budget meeting about it as well, about possibly being able to expand the coverage. But there's a lot that goes into this, so we appreciate you being a subscriber. And as we narrow it down throughout the week and we get into the brackets, we'll have certainly a majority of the pairs covered for the bracket competition, which is when things get really interesting here at the USBC Masters.
Mike, I thought that was well said, and we talked a little bit about it in the chat yesterday as well, and you know as well as I do, as Jason knows, as Matt knows, as every Bowl TV live streamer, Inside Bowling, Flow Bowling, Bowl Stream TV, whatever it may be, that one of the biggest factors as well is bandwidth. Internet bandwidth is always a big key to consider. Always makes bowling alleys and bowling centers a little tricky throughout the course of it in live streaming technology, but that is always one of the key factors as well, is essentially putting a camera behind a pair and having it live stream. That bandwidth, very important to be able to send it back to you. If we don't have that with all the equipment in the world, unfortunately, it can only get so far. So internet bandwidth is always a thing we're looking at in the ability to expand. A place like the National Bowling Stadium always takes care of us in those regards, but something we're always looking to figure out from place to place.
Oh, and trust me, I've been in a couple of those meetings with the folks over here at Bowl TV. Again, I'm just filling in this week and next week, but it's very much on their minds, and it does sometimes boil down to dollars and cents. Each pair is an expensive setup, but I'll tell you what: if you spread the word about Bowl TV, and more subscribers come in, and you can create some more dollars and cents here. They have definitely stepped up their game and purchased new equipment, especially when they rolled out this platform, and it wasn't cheap. just from personal experience, when I look at what all this stuff costs, you're looking at 6 figures, easy. That doesn't even count licensing to be able to put stuff out. So I'm really proud of the work that they've been able to do here and put in here, being a streaming service just a few years old now. So great job. But keep those comments coming, because it's the folks in the chat and it's the subscribers to Bowl TV that are the ones that are going to keep shaping this into what it needs to be. So great question, though, to ask that question.
All right, everybody, we're settling into game number 4 of 5 here. Although it's late at night, this is A squad. They were on the lanes bright and early yesterday, now bowling the late squad. They'll bowl middle squad tomorrow. Just about a game and a half left of our coverage here on bowltv.com for today. We'll have a better picture of what the top 64, what that all-important cut line is looking at. We will definitely have a couple players who are putting themselves in a fairly favorable position. As well, looking to head into the 5 games. And want to give a big shout out to Mike Flanagan from Inside Bowling. He's been anchoring the coverage throughout the course of the day. He's got to step away for a little bit, so we'll bring you home here. As Mike's going to go out, pick up a little extra content for you. If you haven't been following this week's action on social media as well, a lot of great interviews, updates for those of you on Instagram as well, the opportunity to follow along in the stories. A lot of great stuff from Caitlin Nelson as well. But the Sport of Bowling USBC on Facebook, at USBC on Twitter, and at US Bowling Congress on Instagram, all great resources to also follow the Masters and everything going on, in addition to bowl.com/masters. For folks who have been enjoying the chat, if you've seen it above we have a few different tabs there as well. If you select through those, there's actually one that has, I'll bring you to the results page so you can find additional information about the USBC Masters. We'll do the same thing for the US Open coming up next week. As the chat keeps going, some good questions from Jeremy. The renovations, what renovations were done at the NBS? And it's been a process over about the last 7-8 years. Small changes here and there each year for the competitors returning for events like the Open Championships, the Women's Championships, but the big overhaul heading into 2020. For those of you who have grown familiar with the NBS and kind of have that picture in your head, it's walking, you walk through those doors and you wonder if you're in the right spot. You can hear the pins crashing. You know you're on the fourth floor. You have to go up, but definitely a different look and feel. Brand new floor space. So they removed a majority of the grandstand seating that was on the low end. So there's still 2 rows up top. Brand new carpet, brand new painting. The settee area has been expanded, so more room for the bowlers. The pro shop area has been remodeled as well. Essentially, the area where the little restaurant was at is now been moved as well. So it's a definitely a 100% different look on that fourth floor to go along with other renovations over the past few years. Thinking about the squad room, thinking about the addition of the Kingpin Club downstairs and the International Bowling and Hall of Fame Museum. So just a couple of things going on at the NBS. If you want to see it for yourself, we mentioned those social media platforms. Check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BowlTV. Check out Mike's vlog from the practice day talking to the players. He actually went and took everyone on a tour. So you could see those changes as well. So the NBS that you have in your head, the 78 lanes are still there, the high ceilings, all that's still there, but definitely a different look. So definitely check out Mike's vlog from the early going. Logan's question, what is the format? Great question. Always good to recap. Our 200, I believe, 16 competitors here in the field this week at the Masters are all bowling 15 games over the course of 3 days on a challenging 40-foot condition. And at the conclusion of those 15 games, the top 63 players and the defending champion, Jacob Buttriff, will advance to a double elimination match play bracket. Bracket matches will be 3 games with total pinfall determining who moves on to the next round and who has the long road through the elimination bracket. By the end of it all, we'll get to the top 5 players who will advance to Sunday's stepladder finals, which will be aired live on FS1, Fox Sports 1, at 2 p.m. Eastern. So Sunday will be the day for that. For Rod's question, this is actually a simulcast to Flow Bowling. So this is essentially we are sending out the feed to them, and they are showcasing it on their platform as well. So working together here to bring you some great bowling throughout the course of both this week and next week. Taking a quick look at live scoring. Once again, another feature available this week to keep tracks on everybody across the house. Don Barrett, we mentioned steady start for him, a pair of 230s and then a 220 effort. He's plus 86 after 3. It started with the front 4 way down on lanes 3 and 4. So nice start for the 2018 U.S. Open champion. Brandon Curtis on lanes 47 and 48 has started with the front 6. So if he gets 1 or 2 more, we might sneak a peek. That lane is available in your navigation below the video here on Bowl TV. You can select lanes 45 through 48 and check out Brandon. He's bowling with Rhino Page and Ryan Graywas as well. And currently on our featured pair, AJ Chapman delivering the double there. Joshua Jones with a nice string of strikes. Still has a max in the 260s out there this game. Martin Larson and Nick Crummell as well. For Crummell, just the one miscue in frame 4. Everything else, X is up on the board. There's another one for Joshua, making it 6 in a row. Nine spare in frame 7 for Brandon Curtis on 47 and 48. And it looks like we have a score update coming up for you, folks. We will go ahead and start on A squad and then look at the overall scores. A squad leaders continue to be Gary Faulkner Jr., who led the way on this squad after day number 1, second overall. Gary at plus 123. We watched him finish off a 223 game here on the high end, now moving to the low end for game 4. Nathan Bohr, we mentioned 739 out of the gates to move to plus 114. So he was 25 under and has moved all the way into the top 10 in the standings overall. 6th place at the moment for Nathan. Gary in 4th. Brian Robinson, 706, his first 3 games to get to plus 90. He's currently in 11th overall. Nick Crummel on our featured pair. He's plus 70 on the day, plus 84 overall. Timothy Foy, 681, his 3 games so far for plus 69. Brandon Novak, now up to plus 59. Maria Jose Rodriguez dropped to plus 58. Matthew Zweig, plus 47. Ildemaro Ruiz was minus 60 to start the day, now at plus 38. Had 267 last game. Michael Fitzgerald, plus 28. Dom Barrett, we mentioned 686 for his 3. He's now at plus 27. Jesper Svensson, 236 last game to get to plus 26. Josh Blanchard, unfortunately, after the strong start, going the opposite direction, now at plus 14 after a 265 start. Chris Vi, 223, 213, 204, plus 3. So Vi in 48th place at plus 3. Those are all the competitors on A Squad Plus at the moment. The current cut line, minus 23, two-way tie. Ramis Edval from Sweden and Dallas Leong from Las Vegas. So the number has continued to go up here in A Squad. Taking a look at the overall top 10, overall plus scores. Jason Sterner, plus 152. Spencer Robarge, plus 132. Francois Lavoie, plus 131. Gary Faulkner Jr., currently bowling in 4th place, plus 123. Michael Holloman, the runner-up in 2019 here at the Masters, plus 121. Nathan Bohr on the current squad, plus 114. Cameron Crowe and Anthony Simonson tied for 7th place at plus 107. Norm Duke, plus 93. And then DJ Archer and Brian Robinson tied at plus 90. Rounding out your overall top 10. Tom Baird, mentioned him having a nice start today. He's can still shoot 259 this game with a couple frames left to go. Way over on 3 and 4. Gary Faulkner Jr., our overall leader here on A Squad. Pacing 216 this game. It's still a chance to get to 236 if he's able to strike out in the 9th and the 10th frame. He needs to go 30 over in his final 2 games to surpass our overall leader, Jason Sterner. Both Danielle McEwen and Kyle Troop. Kyle saved that 201. He's gotten off to a nice start over on 23 and 24. Can still shoot 286. Danielle McEwen, we mentioned her, that rough game in the 140s. She has struck on 6 out of her first 7 games, still a max score of 277. So an opportunity for Danielle to essentially make a wash of those 2 games and actually get a few pins on the right side of plus for those 2. Looking to bounce back. Nathan Bohr, after the 739 start, can max out at 190 this game. So, oh, nice cover there from Joshua. Nice little 4-7-10 action to wrap up a 234 effort. Martin Larson twice has made the stepladder finals here at the Masters. Going to be in the 230s. Nick Krummel can still get to 246. AJ Chapman 226. So Mike's selection to watch these guys, a good call. Putting up some numbers and looking pretty comfortable here. .235, the final tally for Nick Krummel. .213 for AJ, so they're going to wrap things up here. Krummel's going to get to 119 over there. Big game for Martin. It's going to take him from out of the cut into the number from -38 to -1. Same could be said for AJ Chapman. They're getting to -13. He was 3 pins out of the cut to start this game, but once again, Still a lot of jockeying to do for not only these competitors, but the competitors on B and C squad tomorrow. The order tomorrow, C squad will kick things off bright and early at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. local time. A squad will hit the lanes. So the folks who are watching right now, 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, 1:30 local. And then B squad will wrap things up as we anticipate the excitement of the cut number. And what it will be, we'll know our top 64 competitors, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 local time. At the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. Let's see how we're looking around the house here. Looks like pretty much done on our featured pairs here, outside of maybe a couple shots in the 10th frame. Nathan Bohr, after that strong start, plus, wow, I must have done both of those. He went 170 to drop to plus 114. So Nathan's first game under 200 today so far. Let's take a quick look at the squad pairing sheet and figure out where to go next. I'm going to say 61 and 62 here. We got Brian Robinson, who's had a very nice day overall so far. Going to have Darren Tang joining as well. Zach Cook and Nicholas Amrin will be the foursome. So 61 and 62. Let's go ahead and switch over there. Going to take a quick stop into the Bowl TV studio here in Arlington, Texas. Just like that, we're all set for coverage. 5 of 5 coming up next here on Bowl TV, folks. Once again, a big thank you for joining us throughout the course of the day. Brian leading the way at plus 67. Darren Tang in the mix at minus 51. Zach and Nick a little bit farther back. Has some work to do here in the final 6 games. All right, let's get back to some questions in the chat. Let's see. Let me get my lane pairing sheet here just in case. But thank you. So someone dropped the link there. That was Mark. Thanks, Mark. Looks like Gary's going to be on 21 and 22, so you can follow along with live scoring for Gary to see if he's I didn't see what he finished with that game as we're scrolling through a few different things. See if he was able to get to the lead or not. See another 220 game from Don Barrett. He's just been taking care of business today. Looks like 222 for Gary that last game. So he's going to be right around that leading number that currently belongs to Jason Sterner, plus 152 at the moment. Looks like Gary's going to be at plus 145, unofficial tally right there. But 21 and 22. for Gary. I know we had a question about kind of some of the multiple views on Bull TV, and currently it's just going by channel, so that's the way it works for us at the moment. But you never know. But a great way to switch around, something we use here as well to keep an eye on things. When you can open up a handful of tabs to kind of watch the action and keep an eye on different pairs and different players when you're not joining us here on the commentary channel. But currently not a feature. Bohr, Foy, and Blanchard on 49 and 50, so that is a featured pair. Once again, folks, this is our final game of today. A big thanks to Mike Flanagan from Inside Bowling, helping us out on Bowl TV this week, for anchoring a couple of the streams today as we're pulling double duty. In addition to the excitement here at the USBC Masters at the NBS, we also had our ITC, that's the Intercollegiate Team Championships sectional assignment show for our collegiate bowlers out there. Postseason play ready to get underway, so sectionals will lead to the national championship, the ITC. Also, a big thanks to Jason Thomas, who's been running around like a madman, making sure all the streams are up and running for all you good folks. Matt Cannizzaro, always taking care of business, hopped on the stream for a little bit, writing the great stories you can read on bowl.com. If you check out the news page on bowl.com and you go through March, I think Matt's written about 25 stories so far. So much great bowling, not only the informational stuff, but telling so many great stories as well along the way. So please check out Matt's work. It's excellent stuff. My name is Aaron Smith. Appreciate everyone spending some time with us. We are going to be spending a whole bunch of time with you here on Bowl TV. We look forward to getting down to our top 64 here at the Masters, getting into the excitement of the double elimination match play bracket, and eventually getting to the FS1 step ladder final on Sunday. That's April 4th, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 local time in Reno, Nevada. We will even have pre- and post-game shows available here on Bowl TV as an additional option. So we'll have some pregame, we'll have some postgame, and then we'll even have some more bowling after that. The pre-tournament qualifier for the U.S. Open will take place later that evening. So a busy Sunday, which will lead into the U.S. Open, the fifth major on the PBA Tour here in 2021. Early double there for Darren Tang. Folks, would have to tell you. We mentioned our Bowl TV YouTube channel. Darren Tang has an excellent YouTube channel as well. A lot of great inside ball reviews. It chronicles his time on tour and at events as well. So certainly would get that a follow. Darren has been definitely progressing on the PBA tour as well over the past couple of seasons, making shows left and right. Still looking for that first win. He's made a stepladder final here at the Masters in the past. That took place in 2017, which in a cool scenario that worked out. He ended up actually bowling his brother, Michael Tang. In the stepladder finals, Michael bested him that day, advanced all the way to the championship match, but was unable to beat Jason Belmonte, who captured his 4th Masters title that day in Las Vegas. Joe in the chat agrees with me there, so some good stuff. And as we started the squad off, I mentioned I hadn't had the opportunity to watch too much bowling today with all the work for the sectional show, but Darren has definitely taken a big step to the left here. Started off the block with games of 210, 206, and 213. He was at minus 45 after 3 games, so it looks like it was in the 190s in game number 4 based off of that minus 51 total. So certainly within range of the number, but currently outside. As soon as we get an update after 9 total games, 4 games today, we will let you know. See Rep in the chat talking about some previous trips to the NBS here for the Masters, and there was actually a 3-year stretch, 2001, 2002, and 2003, where the Masters was held here in consecutive efforts. Parker Bone won in 2001, defeating Jason Couch in the title match, 248 to 237. Brett Wolf, the last amateur to win the Masters, won in 2002. tossing that blue hammer. He defeated Dennis Horan Jr., who's actually in the field this week, 269 to 172. And then Brian Smith captured the title in 2003, defeating Walter Ray Williams Jr., 236 to 200. This is the 9th time the Masters has been held at the NBS. 12th time overall in Reno. Zach connects for his first strike. It's that lean on pin number 7. Take a quick look at live scoring across the house here. Did see a mention of Michael Tang watching Darren right now. Early 4-bagger, 7 spare in the 5th. Dennis Horan Jr. also started with 4 in a row before an open in frame 5. Same can be said for Matt Sanders, 4-bagger, then open. Nathan Bohr, that's been the trend. 4-bagger open. But looks like he's going to be back on track. He did strike in the 6th after slowing down with 170 there after the strong 739 start. All right, let's bring in Jason Thomas. Once again, JT, welcome back.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
I thought I was going to spend a whole game with you, Aaron Smith. Stuff hits the fan again.
Hey, that's we're all about improvising here. That is a learned trait of the live streamer. Usually, finding ways to improvise. But we've been talking past Masters history, talking about TV pairs. Someone said it might be 25 and 6 this week. I'm going to lean on you for that.
Timmy Mack said he thinks this is the first minus cut in 25 years in the Masters. I don't know if that's true or not. I seem to remember one Masters where the cut was under, but that's an interesting fact check.
It has been slowly creeping away from even these past couple of games, back up into the minus 20s. Still waiting for an update after game 4 here, but yes, it's and even thinking to, a lot of guys have talked about how tough Syracuse was back in 2018. That was still about a plus 50 or so cut. So it would be interesting to see that. I'm trying to think of what we have available here for a quick look online, but yeah, that might be some deep diving into the stats and the filing cabinets here at headquarters.
Yeah. And then, the other interesting one, and you guys may have spoken about this, but it's the husband and wife making finals. We mentioned Joe and Rocio Hostetler. But, the better bet at this point is Maria and Nathan Bohr.
That is true. We've talked about Nathan a lot today. Maria was the talk of the town yesterday. Both of them are going to be in pretty phenomenal shape. Curious to see. I know Maria slowed down a little bit after a strong start
She's still 31.
but still in pretty good shape.
Yeah. So that, they could very well become the first husband and wife to make the Masters match play finals.
I mean, Rocio's still with. She's going to have a day, but she's still within range, minus 75 after 2 days. So I know you put that number kind of around 100, potentially coming back from. So she's well within, going to be well within that range.
Yeah, for sure. Seen her bowl 75 over before.
Once or twice.
But certainly there are some tempers a flaring out there on the lanes.
Not just the bowling balls anymore, folks.
No.
JT, we got folks reminiscing about Reno in the chat right now. It's it brings a warm spot to my heart to see folks talking about Reno so affectionately.
I know it does.
We got Jeremy talking about wanting to watch Kingpin now. Got to watch Kingpin. I mean, that's
great.
That's just a given. That was right when the stadium was opening too. So that was right around that 95, 96 time. The stadium opening in 95. So, and for a lot of folks, that was, coming back throughout the course of the years. We talked a little bit about the renovations from that Mike showed in his vlog from practice day that aired during day one. But definitely a different feel walking in there for the first time. I know you talked about it when we were discussing things on practice day, but a brand new feel. But I love the little sights and sounds and the places where when you're walking through, like, there's. You see the little places within the rows, Silver Legacy, Eldorado, Circus, where you're like, yeah, that was Woody Harrelson was right there. I know he was.
Yeah.
Always a great aspect of that, heading back. Even a little reminiscing from Ed about the 2012 U.S. Women's Open out on Virginia Street.
Yeah. Yep. I have a ton of great memories from this place. I bowled the Open Championships with Terrell Owens in this building. That was a great experience for me. It took us 2 hours to leave after we bowled because he was signing some autographs, and the last one he signed, man asked if he could have his hearing, and T.O. looked at us and said, "It's time to go, guys."
That's when you hit that spot. That's I suppose after a while he knows when it starts to get get weird.
Yes, it got weird, but it was pretty amazing to get to bowl with him. On a sad note, I learned of the death of Tony Reyes right here in this building. We were here to cover a big regional event in PBA, and we were obviously here very early, and the news started to trickle in the building about the passing of Tony Reyes. So I was right here in this building, a good friend of mine, and I got that news. But so many other obviously much better moments as well from a bowling standpoint. But I have certainly a lot of memories in this building.
Speaking of memories at the NBS, we do have a score update now available after 9 as we get toward the back half of the final game here. A squad first, Gary Faulkner. Fond memories of winning the 2015 World Championship right here at the NBS. Plus 145 leading the way on A squad. He's second overall. So definitely within range of Jason Sterner for the overall lead. Nick Crummel has continued to bowl well. Plus 105 for the day, plus 119 overall. He's in 6th place overall. Nathan Bohr, we mentioned him dropping a little back there, dropped to plus 84, but still having one heck of a day. Tim Foy's been steady, plus 80 for the day, plus 68 overall. Brian Robinson on our featured pair, plus 83 for the day. He's at plus 67 overall. Don Barrett, plus 49. He's 100 and change over. Ildemaro Ruiz, also 100 over for today. He's at plus 42 now. Brandon Novak, plus plus 41 overall. Maria Jose Rodriguez, a couple of 170 games there, so she's dropped back to plus 31 now in 32nd place. Michael Fitzgerald plus 27. Once again, these are just A squad. Matthew Zwag plus 15. Josh Blanchard plus 12. Jesper Svensson plus 1. Only 48 only 48 players averaging 200 or better. PJ Haggerty even. And then the cut at the moment kind of stayed the same there, minus 25, belonging to Marshall Kent. Another big mover and shaker on the day, Kyle Troop. We saw him save 201 earlier in game 3. Has put together some 220s and 2 teens to go along with it, plus 71 for the day to get to minus 26 after a rough opening block, minus 97 in day 1 for Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle, I watched the end of that 201 that he bailed out. That was huge. That was a really, really hard pair. And he was slapping off every one of those. He threw a four-bagger there at the end to go out 201. And, I mean, he wants to lock up player of the year. He's focused.
Obviously Belmo does Belmo things and wins majors left and right and continues to be a dominant force. But without Belmo winning a couple majors in the 2020 season, it looked like Kyle was poised to potentially be the man after getting off to that strong start, taking home a couple titles. Glad to see it has continued for him, and his rise to superstardom has been. It's taken its step. It's taken its time to get there, but it's fun to see him blossom into the star that he's become.
Yeah, it is. And the thing that's interesting about the Player of the Year thing, I mean, that would validate it more than anything, really, for Kyle winning the Player of the Year. But he's never made the cut in a U.S. Open to match play, and so I don't think he's even made a check. I could be wrong, but he hasn't bowled well in that event. We talked about it in the interview we did last week. And so coming out bowling bad that first day here at the Masters, all of a sudden he's looking down the possibility that maybe he will miss the cut at the Masters and then go into his worst tournament that he's ever had in his career in the U.S. Open, and basically let the rest of the whole tour into the Player of the Year race. So this was a huge day for him to get back into this tournament, and he's responded like a champion.
Certainly has, and on pace for another nice game here. So we mentioned he was moved himself just outside the number, looking like he's going to move ahead of the current cut pace. Currently on a 214 place, so can still shoot out or strike out for 234. Looks like Nathan Bohr is going to finish the day 133 over for his 5-game block, 224. So nice bounce back after the 170. Darren Tang's going to put himself right in the mix there as well. 223 there gets him to minus 28. Wanted that second hit in the 10th. That might have actually put him in the number for heading into the final squad here. Rang that 10. And I mentioned it on the broadcast here since I missed it a little bit. It seemed like Darren was getting a little bit farther left than I recall some folks getting yesterday. So I was curious if that was a trend you when you had opportunities to bowl or to watch, throughout the day, if you kind of saw maybe players trying to get a little bit farther left toward the end of the block.
I wouldn't call it a trend. It did see players try to get further left, and in some cases it worked. So I wouldn't say that it was. Obviously, these players are so good. If somebody figures something out, the next squad, everybody's going to be doing the same thing. So there were some players that had some success from a different part of the lane, namely in, but it wasn't great enough to where you were going to see the whole field tomorrow trying it. I don't think.
Well, there we go. We're just about done here. So we still got 10th frame to go on 69 through 72, that channel. So let's bring up the action over there real quick. We got Asku over there. It's always fun to watch Asku.
It is fun to watch Askew, no matter what. And you spoke about some of favorite memories in the stadium, and I ended mine on a kind of a down note there with Tony Reyes. But the best match I ever saw at the Masters took place here at the stadium, and it was the year Chris Barnes led in 2010 when he lost to Walter Ray. He bowled a match against Wes Malott, and he was down 90 pins going into Game 3, and ended up winning the match with the 300 his last game. And he needed the first 2 in the 10th to lock up the match. And it was just epic because those 2 players were the last 2 players of the year, and they were bowling each other. And I believe it was the match to lock up a spot on the show. I don't think it was the final match, but to lock up the 1 seed. But that was the best match I've ever seen in the Masters. And there's been countless great matches, and that one stands in my mind as, the pinnacle. And it really was a match that launched, the PBA's extra frame, because we had the World Series, the first World Series right before that event. And then people were very excited about watching the bowling. And then we had this epic Masters here at the stadium, and that match punctuated the coverage, for the whole week. And it was just unbelievable.
Definitely a great experience. Matt and I joked about that particular event. That was our introduction to Emil Williams Jr. as well, showing up on TV show day, meeting him for the first time. So, and making sure he got some tickets for it as well. So I got to see Walter Ray shoot that 290 for Chris's sake, unfortunately against him, but on the way to his second Masters title. 2010 though. Yep. Right there at the stadium. Imagine,
Yeah,
JT, I was there too.
Yeah. We it was a near miss.
A near miss. I like that.
But no, that was an incredibly memorable Masters. We thought Chris Barnes was going to win that one. He just looked so good. And we thought, if Wes can't take him down, with a 90-pin lead with 1 to go, he's going to get that first Masters title. And here he is, 11 years later, still trying to win his first Masters.
For those 3 shots, we got to see Askew. He delivered 3 strikes for us, so very kind of him. 219, and he's one of Mike Flanagan's locks for a lock for the bracket, and a much needed 219 at that point. Askew starting that game at -52, so that'll give him right around the number heading into the final 5 games. So an opportunity to reset and get back at it.
I'm going to yield my microphone, Aaron, and we're gonna get Nick Crummell here for you in just a second. But
excellent.
It was enjoyable sharing my stadium memories with you.
I can talk stadium all day, JT.
We'll be back in just a minute with Nick Crummell.
Fantastic. Thanks, JT. All right, folks, taking the quick final glance around our featured pairs, and it appears we're all wrapped up. So we're going to come back to the Bowl TV studio. We'll wait for Nick Crummell to join us here for a quick chat about his tournament experience so far. Plus 14 yesterday. Kind of an up and down block for him then. Had a 240 in there, had a 170 in there. So kind of, some of the trends we've seen where you hit a few pairs, you really like them. If you hit a few, you really don't like them. But managed to stay plus 14. So certainly in a good spot. Once again, from A squad yesterday, just 7 players had a plus sign next to their name heading into today's competition. So was already had fought through it, but a nice day. It looked like he got to 115 over for his 5 games today. So plus 129 overall. Certainly is going to have him sitting in the top 10 heading into the final 5 games. Nick previously led at the Masters. I'm not going to quickly rush as we wait for him to see if we can find out what year that was. feel it was 2017. Nick Krummel, there he is. A little bit different scoring pace in 2017 for his 15 games on his way to leading the field there. We mentioned he's at plus 129 right now. He was plus 594. So think about that for 5 more games. Average 239 in that experience to lead the field. However, went 0-2 in match play that year. So we talked about just wanting to get to the bracket. That's all you got to do to have a chance, and then anything can happen in a 3-game match up against just one opponent. So, Nick, I'm sure looking forward to a return trip to the bracket here at the USBC Masters. And as soon as we have him back with us in a moment, we'll be bringing him forward. It looks like potentially Mike Flanagan in Bowl Studio West joining. Not sure. He looks ready. Let's bring him in here.
Hey,
Michael,
Aaron.
welcome back.
Hey, thought I'd join you here as we're waiting for Nick Krummel to come up and join us here up in the booth. I just want to tell you, I went down and I watched Gary Faulkner Bowl. I'm going to do an interview with him here in just a little bit. I shot some B-roll of him. But I got to tell you, man, he looks really good out there. He was splitting boards, but I will tell you that he really goes through a methodical process out there on the lanes. He's very methodical in the way that he gets prepared. I saw him take a couple re-racks, as a matter of fact, and but he made him look really easy. He was throwing a pitch black, quite a bit of surface on it, and I was really impressed with what I saw. You go down, you try to get some B-roll of these guys. You want to try to make them look good, and every time I filmed him, he struck.
And he, when we talked to him yesterday, he talked about urethane kind of being the play, and kind of gone through two different urethane balls. So when one wasn't giving him the look he wanted, that was a sign to make sure. All right, time to go to the other one. And I've heard that process before. Especially with those. Let's say it. I like saying it. They're soupy out there, Michael. It's soupy. So potentially having, 1 or 2 ready with that fresh surface when you need it as well might be something that comes into play throughout the course of a block. Of course, 5 games, pretty short to potentially have 1 or 2 just set up to kind of face that, especially on the left side, knowing you may not see as much breakdown.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. In other news, I was really excited because I DoorDashed some Jack in the Box here. And they just canceled my order because they can't fulfill the order, I guess. So it's 0.8 miles away. I think I'm just gonna walk it.
0.8 miles. There you go. Get a nice little workout. I'm trying to think of which direction that is. Jack in the Box from the stadium.
Yeah, it's extremely disappointing, Aaron.
It does seem like it. You told me how excited you were about it in our little private conversation here. So I knew you were looking forward to it. When you mentioned it, I thought it was going to be all positive. And here you go, dropping this on me.
Yeah, it's very difficult to eat around here.
But I was running down some stats, taking a look. Nick Krummel has had success at the Masters before. He led the Masters in 2017 in Las Vegas just a couple of years ago. You want to know what his plus score was for that event to lead?
Ooh, 422.
It was in the 590s.
Oh, wow.
So talk about a slight change here, just a couple of years down the road to the scoring pace here at the Masters.
Yeah, I'm going to go to try to expedite this so we can get off the air.
All right, Mike, we'll let you go. I'll hold down the fort here. All right, folks, once again, as we wrap up, turning a few channels off here, we'll look to get this interview with Nick prior to calling it a day here on Bowl TV. But once again, we'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time. C Squad will hit the lanes for their final 5 games, followed by A Squad and then B Squad. So if you ever wonder who's going to be up in the final day, it's Cab. Always follows Cab. There you go. And I'm getting the sign from Jason Thomas. It looks like we will not have Nick available here after all. So unfortunately, sorry we were going to get there. Didn't quite get there today, but we'll have cool people tomorrow, folks, for sure. So we're going to go ahead and sign off. We're calling it a day. It's been a great day here at the Masters. It appears Gary Faulkner Jr. has moved into the overall lead. So a great performance by him once again, back-to-back days. Folks, big thanks to Michael Flanagan, Jason Thomas, Matt Cannizzaro. I'm Aaron Smith. Big thanks to the USBC staff, NBS staff, plenty of other folks. We will certainly continue to thank them throughout the course of the week for all the great work they've done. But it's late here. We've had a nice long day. We appreciate all the love and support here on Bull TV, and let's do it again tomorrow. So for all those great folks, we're signing off from the USBC Masters in 2021 from the National Bowling Stadium. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow. And remember, folks, on Bull TV, bowling lives here. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.